This is not totally understood, right? Who is a real white supremacist and who is a lunatic who is trolling. There are suicidal, psychopathic, incel nutcases spending all their time on 4chan and 8chan hoping to kill people. So where does that psychopathology and utter wastage of a human mind become real ideological white supremacy?
Why do you have to take jihadists at their word when you're reading from their propaganda magazines? But the manifesto, it's a question of what part is trolling and what part is sincere belief. It's amazing, the double standard. I'm going to actually play for you Sam Harris from that episode where he read from the ISIS magazine. Just spot the differences in how he talks about the inspiration behind jihadist terror and what he's saying here about white supremacists and 4chan terror, and it maybe not being sincere, and what is the line and how do we know?
So why do jihadists do what they do? Well, they are telling us ad nauseum. They're telling us even when we don't ask. And a magazine like Dabiq advertises their concerns and aspirations with utter clarity. And you might want to say it's just propaganda. And it is propaganda. But it only works as propaganda because many Muslims share these aspirations and concerns and believe the same doctrines. To call it propaganda doesn't mean that it's dishonest.
To call it propaganda doesn't mean that it's dishonest.
For these ideas to successfully recruit people means that they find these ideas compelling. So whether Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi believes every word in this magazine isn't the point. The point is that this material is a highly successful means of recruiting foreign-born jihadis. The point is that many people find these ideas persuasive, and that's not an accident.
Contrast this with the constant minimization of white supremacy and saying that those ideas are not likely to persuade a lot of people, that they're fringe of the fringe. Here's a bit more from that What Do Jihadists Really Want episode.
And those among you who think that they must have some other motive, that they must hate us for our foreign policy, as any rational people would in the aftermath of colonialism, well, you're simply wrong, and dangerously so, as they make absolutely clear.
You hear that? Every other motivation that's not in this ISIS propaganda magazine, which you have to take at its word, is wrong, and dangerously wrong, according to Sam Harris. But all the Great Replacement and white nationalist manifestos, who can know what they really mean? Now let's jump back to the Thoughts on White Supremacy episode, just for contrast.
This is not totally understood, right? Who is a real white supremacist and who is a lunatic who is trolling. So where does that psychopathology and utter wastage of a human mind become real ideological white supremacy? And what is a manifesto that attests to one and not the other? It's just an open question.
It's just an open question. How do we know?
And I honestly don't know enough about the Christchurch case to know what is what.
And he honestly just doesn't know enough about the Christchurch case that killed 51 Muslims that had an explicit anti-Muslim, anti-immigrant manifesto titled The Great Replacement to know what's what. He just doesn't know.